Okay.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. So my name is Ramesh, and I am working as a senior business systems analyst. I have been working as a business systems analyst, product owner, program manager for about like 18 years from now. And I reside at Wisconsin, Kenosha, and I'm working for one of the state government clients for now.
Oh, excellent. Well, welcome to
You said
IIBA Bluegrass
Wisconsin?
BAs on the Street. Go ahead. I think you said Wisconsin, correct?
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, I couldn't hear the question. Yeah, I'm from Wisconsin.
Nice.
Well, excellent, excellent. Um, so I am Steph Hawkins. I'm part of the IIBA Bluegrass chapter, along with Angela and Aaron. Tonight we're going to have a great evening with all of you. We're going to have our quarterly BAs on the street, and we're going to talk to Angela and hear all about her amazing interest in business analysis and just her experiences and where she's going next. Plus, we're going to ask some questions about some of her family and all of that. So, as I stated earlier, feel free to, ask questions, etc. We're happy to have that. And then, if does anybody else want to say hi? If not, we'll get started with questions. Okay, I guess that we'll just let that go. So, Angela, how are you?
Hey,
Welcome.
I'm doing great.
You're doing great. Well, the weather behind you looks amazing. Sunny, warm. So I guess we got a good street to look at. I kind
Definitely
of,
warm outside. I'm actually in Kentucky. There was a Journey tribute concert at our lake out at Freeman Lake yesterday, and we went out to see that, and it was 90 degrees.
oh wow, that's
Yeah, so
that is
it
warm.
kind of matches this background.
Yeah,
90 degrees.
90 degrees. Yeah. Well, I love the weather. I typically want to know the weather. I have a 80, 90-degree day here. I'm in Michigan. It's a sunny day and it's beautiful. So what better way to spend some time where we're enjoying the here in the US, the great, amazing weather. And then Aaron is also in Kentucky, right, Aaron?
Yes, I am. And I wanted to ask, isn't this BAs on the street, not
It is.
BAs on the beach?
BA's on.
No,
I like the way that sounds, though.
it does. It does. We like to shake things up. Aaron, we don't want to have a typical meeting. We want to, find new and interesting ways to like have conversations and spending time on the street. So
I,
I could have some zooming cars past me, but you know,
I
we're not
will
doing
note,
that.
Angela, that you didn't invite me.
Oh,
Everybody's invited.
everybody's invited. Okay, road trip for everyone. Okay. All right. So Angela,
Yes,
if
ma'am.
you don't mind, would you just give a little or a lot of a background of where you're currently working or working on, and just give us a feel for like how are you doing as a BA? Like what are you up to, and what's your experience right now?
So about a year after I graduated from graduate school with my master's degree, I was recruited into the field of business analysis. So I came in at an entry level position, and many years later, my last project, I was actually a senior business analyst, and currently I'm what do they call it? An engineering requirements engineering lead, right? Which is
Okay.
kind of equivalent to the senior business analyst. Like inside, they still call me a senior business analyst, but my official title is um, requirements engineering lead, which makes it sound a little more technical, I suppose.
Right?
But
No,
it's been a really great, rewarding career that I've had. Lots of different experiences, different companies, lots of different people, amazing people that I've had the opportunity to work with.
oh wow, that is fantastic. You always want, we spend a lot of time at work or thinking about work, and knowing that, you sharing that, you've met a lot of amazing people just kind of showcases the opportunities from a BA and what kind of experiences you have, right?
Hey,
We
You spend
have
more time with your coworkers than you do with your family.
you really do. And so
Yeah.
when you think about it, it's like, inquiring minds want to know, and what better way to have a career where, you get to ask questions and learn things and dig in and explore, and it's part of your job. I mean, you have the absolute right to really just learn more and seek that information. And I'm curious with your title, when you say requirements, has anybody corrected you or said, well, aren't you a user story, or, any terminology that they're trying to like fit into that box at all? I'm just curious because sometimes when I
Um,
requirements, I get corrected.
yeah, we do user stories and use cases and
Mhm.
all of the general tools that a business analyst
Right,
uses. But requirements engineer is that I'm the one documenting, building the requirements, gathering the requirements, making sure the requirements get done.
right. Okay. Which is always great fun. So, when I asked the question kind of for a lead in, a reason is that throughout our careers, whether you're a true BA, you have a different title, and the work that you do, whether it's all that's what you do, or part of your role is that the core things that you've learned over the years are still the same skills that you use today, right? You can
Yes.
call them a different name. You can now use different, AI technologies in order to, extract things a little bit easier so you can work faster, and all that. But those core skills are still needed in used and just, you just morph over the time. Have you also found that to be like the experience for you as well?
Yeah, I bring all of the tools that I gather from each project to my next project, it seems. And I'm able to find ways to apply them in different ways. And
Okay,
so
excellent.
it all depends on what the team needs. So what I find on different projects is that, if it's an existing project, you come in and you have to adapt to the system that they've created. But
Right,
even in that, you can still see where the tools that you're bringing with you apply to that situation, right? So for
right,
instance, the difference between agile and the waterfall method, right?
right.
Sometimes projects are a hybrid of those two things.
Right. And it's interesting too, depending on, where you're working, the teams you're working in, even within the organization, everybody, kind of does I've seen so many people do a morphing and a blending of whatever you call it what you want. You're following waterfall or you're doing agile. They just try to find a way to do the work that they can do the quickest, fastest, most efficient way possible, right? And so
Correct.
you
Correct.
try to stick with, certain, methodologies and all of that. But which is also another amazing thing about being a BA is that no matter how people are asking you to flex, you still have your core skills and techniques.
You have the skills to flex.
The skills to flex, perfect. The flexing skills. And I think about some of the insights or some of the things that we learn, and the things that we get to experience as be part of being IIBA. For instance, we're both part of the Bluegrass chapter. And one of the things that we really pride ourselves on is education. In like here is education for people in a different kind of manner, right? You get to hear how true BAs uh, experience their careers, like things that have happened, where you're going, directions, opportunities. So you really get that, like tell me more about like what's going on in your career and which gets into if people have questions, they're free to ask. But it makes it real. Like it's a real situation. It's not like I'm a BA and these are the things that I do. It's like we all experience it differently, but we still have core concepts and things that we use and that we flex. So with our chapter, the Bluegrass chapter, one of the things that makes me most proud of it is not just our leadership that we have and all of the people that are in our community that come to these types of sessions and we work on techniques or whatnot, but it's also the training that we have, like the professional development in the ability to learn whatever it is that you want to learn in whatever manner it is that you want to. You want a structured class, you want some mentoring, whatever it might be. What are your thoughts on how training and just the experiences that just this chapter offers?
Sure. So I've been lucky enough to work for companies that embrace continuous learning, and they really encourage that. So I really appreciate having this chapter and this organization available to me to be able to go and do that continuous learning, continually finding tools and apply to my work. So there's the online videos on, and we can network with each other, and then we can go and connect on LinkedIn if we want to, right? So then we have a lifeline to other professionals who are like-minded and doing the same things. And in addition to that, there's the courses that we can sign up for to help us get our certifications.
Right.
So this organization has been extremely valuable to me all along. And especially during transitions, when I really have a lot of time there to bone up on
Right.
new techniques, new ideas, and then there's the job board, within our chapter too. So
Wow. Wow. So, I was just thinking about our last, question about like Agile, like what we enjoy about it and pros and cons and all it and what is it, how we could take that different places, and then also about the educational opportunities. One of the experiences that we get to have from being a BA on the street is these different types of either workshops, the training that's offered, the lunch and learns, community events. All of that gives you a different way to learn that fits your need for that, either that project, because I've heard lots of people ask questions of other, like I have this use case of how I'm at work and how would you have any advice for me on how to do it. And so I have found that like having the conversation with people in any of our meetings has been really useful. And when we asked the question about Agile or waterfall, have you noticed that no one has yet to say that they never use waterfall anymore? Have you heard anybody say it's out the door, they don't use it anymore, it's expired?
no, well, waterfall is still a thing.
It's still a thing, still a thing. Do you have a preference of which one that you like to use more, and any techniques that kind of go along with it? BA technique?
I kind of like I like both of them for different reasons.
Okay.
And I like to do a blend. For instance, agile sometimes can feel like everybody's flying by the seat of their pants because people make decisions and then you want to change on a pivot, right?
Right.
That can create a little bit of chaos. So I do like a little bit of lead time before moving into changes. So whether that's a sprint or 2 sprints, it's good to have a little bit of lead time. And so that kind of brings in a little bit of a waterfall structure where you're kind of identifying everything that we need to do a little bit up front
Okay.
to kind of minimize the chaotic feeling, right?
Right. So, thinking about that chaotic feeling, I have a a situation, a scenario for you. Maybe you can help me out with it personally.
Okay.
So we have a new leader in our organization who has come in and has thought, I see a lot of manual processes, I see a lot of automation that could happen in existing tools plus some new tools. And listened, came in what a leader does. They come into the organization, they meet with people, they hear good things and bad things about what people are doing, and then they start making that list, right? A lot of times that list is in good old Excel, which people seem to love still, myself included. And so if you have this very, very long list of, I would say, epics or themes, right? Of things that they want to have done, but you don't have any requirements yet, right? It's just here's this. It's not written out in any manner of like the persona and here's what I want to achieve. They're just basically you knew that that person had a cup of coffee with somebody, probably, and they said things and they jotted them down. How would how would you any thoughts on how you would take that list and try to like prioritize it or gather requirements?
Sure.
Any techniques you can recommend for me to be able to do that?
Well, I definitely want to go back to my stakeholder matrix, right? I want to
Okay.
identify the key people who are going to help to prioritize or to explore those ideas and then prioritize those ideas. Which ones do we actually want to use? And then
Okay. Yeah.
prioritize them and then have the right people in the room to say, okay, do we want to do anything concurrently or do we want to do them one after the other? And what are our timelines? So you definitely want to go back to your stakeholder matrix and make sure that you can get the right people in the room
Okay.
and,
Okay,
and get
great.
together and discuss it.
Okay. So so I take my matrix of people or of these requirements. We've got a couple people that they were from, and so you start asking the question like, for this, are you the correct stakeholder? Who else should be in the requirements meeting with us, right? For the themes, and they don't really have them prioritized. Some of them were on a backlog, a wish list from before prior leaders, and you can't assume that that would be the current leader's priority. So now that I have this list, I've got my stakeholders, and I can start grouping them like, okay, I could meet with some of these people, ask them multiple things maybe in the same session in a structured approach to try to like get the most done, right? So if I were to schedule that meeting with maybe one or multiple topics to gather requirements, because remember, all I have is like, hey, we want this yesterday, let's do it. We don't know level of effort, we don't know impact, we don't know cost, we just have somebody who wants us to deliver something now. What should I do next after that? I mean, I've got a meeting, I've got a bunch of people staring at me. Do you have any ideas or techniques I could use to really be super efficient and really just try to get the most out of them, knowing that they're probably going to say, I need to bring in Susie and Bob, right? Because they didn't bring everybody. You know how that works. So,
Sure.
any thoughts for me on that?
Well, what I like to do when unexpected requirements come up is I like to always go take it to my team to get their
Okay.
input on it, because they're the ones who would be delivering whatever it is, the product, or
Okay.
having to use whatever the tool is, right? So we
Right.
want to identify the stakeholders that it's going to affect and have a conversation with them and what's their input. So how would this affect you if we changed your tool right now, for instance,
Okay.
right? Is that going to affect the work that you're trying to finish right now? And would it be better for you to finish your work now, or would it be better to incorporate this tool into what you're doing now? Would that get you to the goal faster? And if it wouldn't, then that's something that we want to go and highlight and such that are wanting to implement something now. Is that a risk that they're willing to take
Okay.
if this would possibly delay a deliverable that we're working on right now, right?
Okay. So in-flight
So
work.
whether it's incorporating new requirements or incorporating a new tool, we have to get the impact and the level of effort. So you have to have that conversation with the team and then kind of bring the team along with the leaders and get everybody on the same
Okay.
page.
Okay. And so if I completely agree with you. So if I had these people, okay, not people, stakeholders, coworkers, they're morphing through this list, and so I'm meeting with them and I'm having that conversation, asking the questions. Tell us
Mhm.
more about, what this means, what does it entail, um, expectations, just trying to get, some gauge so we could do even some t-shirt sizing to say, is it going to be big? Is it going to be small?
Sure.
So we can help them prioritize and put it in a nice roadmap for them so they can visually see like
Mhm.
what you're hearing there say back visually. Now, how would you record when you're t-shirt sizing that type of information? When I say record, I mean like the documentation, right? I mean, whether you're using Jira or Excel or something else, do you have any tips for me to like how to be super efficient and succinct so that way they don't fall asleep when they're reading what I wrote?
So personally, I like to use the techniques of identifying a user or the person involved. So your user stories. So
Okay.
I want that. And then I want to identify what the acceptance criteria would be. So
Perfect. Mm-hmm.
when then, right?
Yep.
And put that together very high level and kind of show it to the stakeholders and kind of get their agreement on it, the product owner and the team.
Okay. Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, because I mean, this is a true scenario. I mean, I'm blurring the names and the some of the information to protect the innocent here. Um, but so when I think about like techniques that I've used in the past or I've had other people use when I'm in meetings where people are asking these kind of questions. Now, do you have any favorites? Do you have any things that you've seen other people do? I've been in some of these sessions in the last couple of years where they've used like Miro or some of these boards so that way they kind of make it fun and it's an activity to gain it and there's some synergy with Jira. I'm just kind of wondering if at your work you've had where they have some opportunities like that to try to make it more interesting or
Sure, we've used
compelling.
online whiteboards with sticky notes and such.
Okay.
We've grouped those together and we've prioritized those. Very fun activities. So I highly recommend doing that.
Okay. Okay. Do you do anything fun with personas, like a theme of like I worked at a company, not my current one, where one of the personas was a sugar mama and she was had a bunch of kids and sugar nana, excuse me, not mama, sugar nana, and she had a bunch of grandkids, and so the stories and all the things was really like costly, right? That was like you could have all these fun things versus struggling such and such person, the requirements were a little less for that. Do you get into those kind of situations when you
Normally what we do is more formal, so we
okay?
haven't had the opportunity to have fun like that, but those are the kind of techniques that I like to learn from you, Steph. You've given many really great presentations on how to make things more fun if that were appropriate to the situation.
Right.
Unfortunately, I haven't had the occasion
Yeah.
where it was appropriate to.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, not every employer wants you to go and have a good time. I keep reintroducing it.
you kind of have to read the room and the
Yeah,
personalities,
yeah.
right?
Yes, exactly.
Um,
I don't always wear
typically
hot
what I
pants.
have encountered that
Right. Yeah.
typically what I have encountered is that we're trying to be very efficient and
Okay.
not duplicate and get things done short and sweet and just get to the understanding, document it, get it done. How fast can we get it done, and how fast can we test it, etc. So, but
Wow.
I do so appreciate having tools where you can lighten up when appropriate and
Mhm.
bring some fun in. And that kind of could lend to people being more creative with solutions too.
And more engaged, more willing to read a document that has a lot of information, right? I mean, sometimes when you really get deep into your use cases, your requirements, you need to be very prescriptive. I mean, you need to be able to get the right acceptance criteria, and even though they don't always articulate what it is, some people are very visual learners or visual people,
Like
right? Like you may write something and it's a word, but until you can kind of like give them a demo or some kind of proof of concept, something light, some wireframes or something, they don't
wireframe, yes.
they don't always understand what you're trying to say to them. So you have those opportunities. So it sounds like to me like the work that you're doing is very satisfying and you enjoy these interactions, that collaboration and just really learning what somebody wants or needs or what you think they are and just helping them to get that out of them and like bring it to fruition. Do you have, I mean, can you share some more insights about that?
Well, I mean, we are kind of like doctors, for the tech world, right? So we are bringing
Right.
all our different tools to the table And every day might be a little bit different, and we have to decide which tool in the business analysis bag that we have to fit that
Right,
situation, right?
right. Well, fortunately, we have the BABAC and we have a bunch of people in our community that can help us figure out the techniques that may be most applicable, like me asking you, right? Like, what are you using? How can I take and learn from your skills so I can be more efficient? Or in some cases, it's what validation or confirmation that, okay, I am on the right track, right? I remember when I first started coming to IIBA, meetings, like we'd have our monthly meeting, and I remember being very quiet and timid and feeling like I don't think I know enough to be sound intelligent or whatnot, to where I'm just going to be, a little bit reserved so that way I don't embarrass myself, right? I mean, that's a fear that I don't think you ever outgrow unless you're uber confident. And then I think you probably still have it. So, when I hear you talking, it makes you realize that you you can have the confidence to have a conversation on what you're doing, what you're trying to learn, and then just ask somebody and they will be happy to like help you along. Like you need a different tool or you just need to get unstuck because what's working, what you're doing may or may not be working based on the stakeholders you have. Do you have any thoughts about like if anyone here has, not a ton of experience or just feel like they don't because they don't have certification, which you can get one from our chapter, by the way, that you can give them any insights on how to really just feel confident and move forward. Do you have any
Sure.
insights that you can share?
Um, so coming to events like this and us seeing each other over and over again and connecting on LinkedIn is always a good idea so that we have each other to ask those high level questions and get ideas. Like again, like I said, attending your classes and the when you demonstrate techniques. I love having that available to me so I can bring those to my work if it is appropriate for the situation that we're working on. And then again, I can encourage everybody, you have to build good relationships with your team. I learned so much from the people that I work with on each project, so I come away with new skills from every position that I get to participate in. And that's amazing, that knowledge share. So it's very important to identify who's willing to be a good team member like that and collaborate and who's not. Right.
Right. Right. Yeah, because you want to build, especially, like if you're, a newer to the VA profession, you can join IIBA and meet a bunch of friends who, by the way, everyone that I've come across has been super helpful and super friendly. This is such a, I don't know, a safe community, meaning you can ask whatever it is, whatever level of skills that you have or don't have, and you're always going to find somebody who is willing to help you, whether you have this conversation where other people hear you or you just ask for help. So anybody out there, don't feel like you don't have resources within the IIBA community to be able to help you learn and grow or help you point you in the right direction. And then there's, you talk about like materials and videos and networking. I know that in networking, you have some family members that also like to participate in networking and they're younger. Do you want to share any insights
Absolutely.
on how IABAs help them to grow in their careers?
Sure. So I encouraged both of my sons who are college age to join. And so they both participated in the course to prepare them for certification, business analyst certification. So they both signed up to do the ECBA course, and they did
Okay.
that from, I think it was January to April. And so that's given them a lot of nice tools in their bag and tools that they can take to their current jobs that they're working on. And they're continuing to study and prep and hopefully get that certification eventually, but they both are very involved in their college work right now. So
Okay.
One of them is studying for a business degree, and he's a senior, and the other one is a junior, I think. Yeah, he's a junior, and was accepted to the speed school engineering over at U of L. So
Oh,
he's
nice.
taking those technical classes. So
Congratulations. But
working very hard. They just
right.
got their new shirts too. They got their deep navy blue shirts. They look fabulous. Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. They are quite lovely. So, but you think about your sons in coming to events and learning and getting certifications. The ECBA is really gives you a great foundation, especially, if maybe you don't know if being a BA is your passion yet. It's a great foundational work because it really does help you to think and learn and understand in somewhat of a structured fashion, right? Like, um, it takes sometimes people a long time to develop the thought process on, like, how do you inquire, how do you elicit information, how do you take it, and those process steps. Some people, have process maps in their head immediately, right? It's just a type of,
Yeah.
like the type of person you are. Like you have a
Yeah.
conversation, and you're doing flow charting in your head. Like not everybody's into that, but it really helps because no matter, to me, whatever profession that you have, the core skills that you can learn, you can apply them whatever you're doing at
You can
whatever
apply them to your
level.
personal life as well. They're
Mhm.
great tools,
They
right?
they are great tools. And before I found IIBA, I did a lot of business analysis work and never really gave it a thought because first off, I hadn't found the community. And second off was just, it was, people were project managers or other things that, BAs were not something that not necessarily people talked about a lot, right? I mean, because I'm a little bit mature in some ways. And so, at some points in your career, you realize you're a BA or a hidden BA and you can leverage those types of skills. And so, as people are, becoming interested or, starting out your careers, you know, it sounds, I mean, to me, I would recommend that. It sounds like that's what you've been doing with your sons.
Absolutely. I want them to have the tools in their bag. And as I said, the business analyst tools, you can take and apply that to your personal life.
Mhm.
You can really apply it to any job
Right.
that you do, right? Because
Right.
the idea is you want to identify what are the needs? What does this employer need? And then how can I get from the idea of what they need to the fulfillment of the need, right?
Right. Right. And what's also good about it too, it's like you and I are having a conversation here. And um, it also helps you have bravery in learning how to talk to people because it's a recipe for how to engage and gather
Absolutely.
information from people. Rabok has a lot of techniques. Some of them are favorites, some of them are not. Some of them you're like, how could I do this best? And okay, yes, got it. Yep, I knew that was there. I'm going to try it a different way because not every technique works with your stakeholders, right? I mean, you got to find sometimes the right one for the people, but it also gives you that ability to have a conversation with somebody to explore and understand. And like, I'm trying to gather requirements from you tonight, right? Like how can I become better at XYZ by having a conversation with you?
Sure,
So,
like the five whys. I really like the five whys.
mhm,
They could be talking about one particular need, but why do they need that, right? So what is
right,
getting to the core issue, right? We might solve this problem, but that problem might come up again because really there's an underlying issue that we need to identify and address, right?
right,
So the
right.
five whys is a really great technique to use.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Especially too, do you find, let me ask this question. Do you find when you're doing requirements gathering that people want to give you the solution, but they don't really give you the
They haven't explored the
requirements?
core, the underlying issue. Yes.
Right, right. I mean, what have you been doing to get past that? Like, I hear, I want this tool, and I'm like, well, what do you even want the tool for? What are you trying
Exactly.
to do here? What are your thoughts?
So yeah, you want to explore that, ask them the questions and dig a little bit, in the five whys, you ask at least five 5 questions to try to get to the underlying issue, and you document that, and then help explore, is the solution that you're really suggesting the solution that's going to solve the underlying problem, and what
Right.
is the impact of doing this solution versus another potential solution which would solve the underlying issue.
Okay, cool. Very cool. So have you, I'm deviating, I'm going off into the wild over here. So have you had a chance at work to use AI at all in your requirements together? I was just curious because there's more and more AI tools that are coming out, right?
Sure.
Chat GPT-5, all that kind of, or GPT-5. And so our work, where I'm working, which I'm not going to disclose where, they've been trying to encourage employees to use AI and to see where it takes them. So thought, okay, I'm going to embrace it and see where I can take it with either requirements gathering or refinement or just what did I not hear
Sure.
and asking questions because I was busy
Oh, well, I
jotting
take that
things
back. I
down.
take that back. Okay, so when when we do meetings, we can
Okay.
record the meetings, right?
Okay.
And then there's an AI doing transcription for us. Now,
Perfect.
sometimes it gets a few words wrong, but it's helpful in that you can spend more time listening and engaging versus transcribing what was said, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
Because
that's very helpful. And then you've got that transcript available to go back and explore. Is what I wrote down in my own notes actually what was said? Because, if something was not quite, didn't seem quite right, or you have some
right,
contradictory notes, then you're able to go back and check that transcript and see
right,
if
right.
there's
Yeah,
something different.
it has taken a different spin because back in the day, I used to take copious notes to almost transcription myself before the tools became available because people said so many things that you didn't want to miss a nuance because piecing it together, right? Like all
Sure.
the puzzle pieces of what they're really trying to say or finding the underlying issues that was somebody said at one point that they kind of blew past it but like was a core need or core risk or requirement that didn't get the attention at that time.
Mhm.
So one of the things that I've been doing lately is I took a bunch of my transcripts and asked it to give me my requirements and also make those requirements into user stories with personas. So it was fascinating what I got out of it.
Did it work?
Yes and
That
no.
would be amazing. Would be
Yes,
amazing to be able to use that.
yes and no. What I found from that experience, I got a lot of information, like, okay, but I didn't get a lot of information. You know why?
Right.
Because the AI isn't asking me questions about what may be the gaps. And I did ask it to tell me what the gaps were, by the way, as well. Risk, dependencies, like, all of the different questions, like what can I extract the most out of these? And I had 20 transcripts, 20 transcripts from meetings that I put it together, asked AI what to do. And you know what I found out from it? I found out it one made me realize that I did not hear everything because you're thinking, you're asking, people are talking over each other, whatnot, but there's still that abundance of information. So what do we do as VAs? We correlate it, we understand it, we tease it out, we go back and we do verification and refinement. Like, did we hear what you were saying? Did we understand it correctly? Right? Is part of that. But to me, my key takeaway was I'm still needed as a BA. That
Absolutely.
was my key takeaway because it took all of this information and gave me a bunch of things. But when I read through it, I'm like, nope, missing that. They didn't ask this, you know what I mean? And I asked it all different kinds of ways, all different, just these flavors. And it was great. It gave me output in Excel spreadsheets or tables or all kinds of stuff. But it really still needs somebody who wants to know information, right?
Yep.
So I thought I'd share that with you because in our past conversations, we've talked about AI and where it's going and the challenge, and it can be used for a lot of fun things too, especially if you like Kevin Bacon. You know, I like Kevin
That was
Bacon.
such a great session. It really was. That was a great session. And, so on that note, I really appreciate the fact that the chapter is incorporating more events that include learning about AI.
Right.
I've participated in a couple of those so far. So I like having that available to me because that seems to be the direction that we're going, where everybody needs to know a little bit about it, right?
Right.
So I appreciate having that opportunity to participate with the chapter to take AI information courses. And then there was also another course that I participated recently where it talked about strategic thinking, the second and third order thinking, right?
Right.
You think AI is doing the second and third order thinking?
I don't know. I think a lot of people think that it is, but there's still much, it still has a lot of room. And like I said, as a BA, my quest is now to say, am I asking the right questions of people, right? I mean, I've been asking questions of people for a long time. I've asked you many, many tonight. You've been so kind as to answer them, but it really goes back to like that next level. Like we're asking information to get requirements to do things, but can we do it a little different? We still have, by the way, some of the techniques and some of the things that we use to document, like I would try to tell it to put it in a structure and try to give it guidance on how I want it and all this other kind of stuff. But there's still so much as a BA that you still need to do or ask or inquire that is, to me, I found it like this was helpful. But was it something that I could say like, hey, can you
Can
just
it
sign
do the
off
work
on
for us?
this?
No.
No, not at all. Um, I mean, maybe some people have some more sophisticated, agents that they put together and all of that, but it was very, very intriguing. And also what I found, it kind of gives you the confidence that, you know what, doing pretty good at trying to get information from people. The automation is good, all of that, but it's still inquiring minds want to know, and we need to ask the right questions and to try to really get that information out of people.
It's a tool that we can use to maybe make our job a little bit easier for documentation.
For documentation, definitely. Yeah, I took it for not that 20, but another thing where somebody hadn't documented the projects, the requirements. They just had conversations with people and somebody said, I need some requirements. I said, can you give me some transcripts and I'll see if I can get something out of them. And I was able to get some information, but still the BA skills that we learn how to critically think and how to act and engage, pure gold, pure gold.
Well,
Absolutely.
like here, it looks like Erin has posted a course that's
Oh,
coming up on August 20th at 6 p.m. Business Analysts in AI, Turning Data into Business Values. Sounds great.
ooh, ooh. That was not pre-planned, everyone, by the way, but thank you, Erin, for,
Coming
for
up.
putting that out there. So Angela, I've been
Yes.
asking you a lot of questions, but do you have any questions for me or Aaron or for anybody here like you would like to pose a problem, a question, or just, try to elicit anything from anyone?
Well, I just want to encourage everyone to participate in all of our events, right? So, for instance, now it would be great if everybody was sharing their camera and engaging in conversation. So that way we get to know each other a little better. And with each successive meeting that we're in together, then we become business colleagues, right?
Mhm.
And then having that connection with people helps build future opportunities for everyone within our chapter.
Right. Yeah, I completely agree. I have the opportunity to spend time like having engaging with you in conversations, not just here on our bees on the street, but otherwise. And it happened because Mr. Aaron noticed that in chat I would say some things or ask some questions. and I'd come to several different meetings, and then he's like, oh, she has an interest in what we're talking about, or just having some conversations with other people. And so it went from my engaging in chat or asking a few questions or saying hi, like, hey, so and so, the weather's sunny out today, to where I really have like the best opportunity by being able to do having conversations with you, and then we come up with social crazy agile events that comes up because somebody said something. Like a lot of times it's, if somebody comments here, I'm like, oh, maybe they're interested, we'll have to see where we can go with that one. And so I would say to you, like, that is ideal. You don't have to say I'm a BA and I know all these things. You just have to like engage
Participate.
and participate, and it's amazing where that can take you if you want it to take you someplace.
Sure. And it's amazing that the connections that can be made. Like somebody might be off contract at the moment, and somebody else might just have had someone leave, and now they have an opening. And then because you know each other and you know that person knows a certain set of tools, right?
Right.
You can make a suggestion to that person that they might take a look at this position.
Right. And you speaking of tools, remember some of the first questions I asked, does anybody have a BA toolkit that they could share with me? I mean, I know the back, but like, do you have forms? Do you have, like, just tell me what you're using, because I want to make sure that, like, I'm up to speed, that I'm getting the right information or whatnot. And I had, her name is Gina. She's no longer with us, but she shared with me like different documents that she had. This is long before, Jira and some of these other things. And I was like, it was so validating. First off, it was very helpful, but also too, it's like, oh, okay, I'm good. I'm on the right track, right? Like I'm literally getting to where I think that I want to be.
Sure.
And so, that is in part why we do some of the professional development, or some of the social events. Is really, it's like, I want to find out what other people are using, right?
I
We
have
as
to
a
keep
community,
sharpening the saw,
yeah,
and I have to
yeah,
get other tools to bring in my tool bag. I have
right,
to constantly be ready. I mean, because if
right.
you're a contract worker, right,
Mhm.
while you're doing a great job on the current contract, you always have to be building for the next contract.
Right,
Right?
right.
And so I like to, in my free time, learn about the new tools that are out there. I like to go and look at job announcements and what tools are they asking for, right? And
So
so
smart.
one of the tools that they're asking for is Power BI.
Mhm.
No Power BI. There's another
Ooh.
one too. I can't remember what it was
Mhm.
called. What is it? It's a database tool. Come on, Steph. I know you've seen it.
Anybody,
Tableau,
oh, Tableau, yeah,
right? Have you had a
Tableau.
chance to use
Mhm.
Tableau? I remembered I did one course
Yep.
on Tableau. So
Well, what's cool is there's a certification, Erin, tee it up, that's all about data analytics. And
data
Tableau and Power
analytics.
BI are two amazing tools that you can use with it, and plus some of if you have some other skill sets as well. So you can definitely learn how to really get into that, because data is knowledge and data is money. That is for sure. Maybe we'll try to figure out how to incorporate that into one of our.
Yeah, that would be really nice.
Be kind of fun,
Because
but
there's
people have
not
to
just
participate.
the communicating, there's
Right,
also making sure that you are really good at your underlying competencies, right?
right, exactly. So, uh, we're getting closer to the end, which always makes me so sad, because there's always so many more things to talk about. But does anybody here have any questions, any recommendations, any feedback, anything that you have an interest in that you'd like to learn more about? And it's okay if you don't, because we will
Okay.
try to surprise you with something
It's okay to be
more
shy.
interesting. Okay, so Angela, it has honestly been a distinct pleasure to spend time with you. I've gotten to know you this past year.
Nice always, yeah.
Through chapter events, and quite honestly, the chapter events that I get to host this year, you were instrumental in making them actually happen. You went and did so much work to find people and set them up. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that, and the chapter appreciates that, and anybody who joins does, quite honestly. So you've been invaluable, and so I
Thank you so
just
much.
thankful for that. And all of that. So that's, when you think about gratitude or, stakeholder gratitude, like, you spend time with people that have done things to help you learn and grow and whatever. I feel that way towards you and also Erin for helping to,
Thank you.
for us to learn and grow together and, get to be able to, spend time and meet new friends and also just learn new things. Because it seems like we're always getting an opportunity to learn something new when we get together and talk.
That's true. So on that note, I would encourage everybody to participate in that way as well. Be a contributor, be a person who participates as a speaker in one of these events.
Right, right. I mean, it truly gives you an opportunity to grow. I'm going to give you an example. So, Aaron, you remember Tom T?
Sure.
Yes. When a couple, what, 2, 3 years ago, um, Tom and he's quite the person that chats and he likes to talk. And I had asked him if he could help me do a presentation. I was a little nervous, very nervous, right? And and if he could present and then help if I could, participate in this with him for the chapter. And so he put together a presentation, did that, we had a lot of conversations and all of that. And he really has gone on, and he's an instructor, but he has gone on. I've seen him do many other presentations since then, right? And so for me, I was trying to get somebody to help me to become more confident and then work with them to help them, like that interaction. And it really, to me, it's been so amazing to be able to see him like do other things and just, so like us together here, I think that we can probably do some more things together and really just take it in another direction. When you have time, let's think of some interesting things, and maybe we'll get some of the same participants here at one of those events.
Sounds good.
All right. And okay, so we're getting close to the end. Erin, do you have any announcements, any information that you want to share before we wrap up? It's, like I said, sad that we're almost at the top of the hour. So
No, I don't have anything.
okay.
You both did wonderful tonight, so really appreciate the conversation. And it
Take
was great
advantage of
to,
those announcements in the chat and check out our LinkedIn
Yes.
page as well for
Yep.
upcoming events.
Yep. And thank you again, Angela. It's,
All right,
it's
thank
just
you.
been tremendous. And I'm going to come back with you and ask you some more about some requirements. I've got some more questions for you, but
Okay.
dig a little deeper and get some thoughts from you. So thank you, everyone.
Thanks
We
all.
enjoyed your attendance here and hope you had an enjoyable time. Reach out if you need anything from our chapter. We're always happy to have conversations. Aaron is the go-to guy, and he's your main go-to guy. So make sure you link it, hit up LinkedIn for him. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.